Good afternoon, everyone. It's June 30th, 2024, and just as I promised, this is part 2 of the last 2 videos on crime and safety, and expanding on the previous video, part 1. And as you can see, I've given it an interesting title today, so it's going to be fairly long, and I think you'll enjoy this story. So I'm going to put my glasses on so I can read this to you, because I don't want anyone to miss any details. It's pretty darn good. Okay. This is after I separated from my first husband, the police officer, who, because he found himself in circumstances that he took the easy way out and resigned from the police department. This was the end of the marriage as well. I found myself alone and having to support myself. So a couple of months later, I found an apartment and then started first working as a security guard. I found a little bachelor apartment in an old large house converted into bachelor apartments that was only rented to all women. I was on the ground floor with the big picture window that looked out onto the street. This one evening, that summer, I had just got off my evening shift at 11:30 p.m. A little after midnight, when I got home, one of the girls from one of the other apartments dropped by and wanted to talk to me about something. I had not yet had a chance to get out of my uniform. As it was a small apartment, I had one chair for a guest, and I would sit on the end of the bed talking to her, and the front curtains on the big picture window were open about 2 feet apart. She is sitting in the chair, I'm sitting on the end of the bed. All of a sudden, she lets out a scream. Screaming, "Did you see him? Did you see him?" She jumps up so fast, she lands on top of me, sending me back on the bed, throwing me flat on my back onto the bed. I'm trying to get up, saying, "What man?" She says, "The one who went by the window." I had not seen anything in my position, so I said, "Let me up so I can go check the window." Looking through the 2 foot opening in the curtains, at first I saw nothing. Then, with the aid of a street light, I saw a man all dressed in black. He was white with brown hair and wore gold-rimmed glasses, and was standing beside a parked car and was lifting up the windshield blades on the car. I thought it was a little bit odd, but maybe it was his car, and maybe the car wouldn't start, so he was leaving a note on the windshield so it wouldn't get towed. So I left it at that, and the girl, that's all I saw, a man at his car. A few minutes later, after resuming our conversation, she again screams, "He's back again." Again, I didn't see him, but now I was wondering if he was trying to look through my window. However, this time when I went to look out the window, with some help between the street lights amongst the shadows, I now saw this same man, now standing in our laneway, now at one of the other girls' cars, with what looked like a long black hose he was putting into her gas tank. That is what I came to the conclusion, that this man was up to something. He was not at the parked car, so that was his car, and he's siphoning gas out of the girl's car from upstairs. Now he was starting to look very suspicious, and all dressed in black. Yet he did not completely hide his identity. This is when I told the girl with me, she and I, along with my dog, a standard poodle at that time, are going to take the dog for a walk. As the girl was getting afraid, I told her he would likely not try attacking 2 girls and a dog. So I quickly slipped out of my uniform, not wanting to attract undue attention to myself as well, into my jeans and short sleeve top. Then grabbed a pen on the way out. As we came out the front door, the man started to hurriedly walking towards the corner and around to the next street. We both caught up easily to him. He crossed the street and started to get into another car. I told the girl with me, "I will get the first half of the license plate. You grab the second half of the plate." As he drove off, we had the license number and I wrote it on my hand. Then we hurried back to my apartment. As I was sure something was wrong, I called the police and told them that I saw this man who looked like he was siphoning gas out of the girl's car upstairs. And this is a license number. A few minutes went by, then a knock on my door. It was a detective I knew, and another officer I knew as my husband, who just resigned from the police department, and I knew quite a few officers at that time. The detective asked me and the other girl to come to the door and identify this man if he was the one we had seen. We both said yes at the same time. However, I was rather surprised to look out and see 5 black and white police cars with the one cherry on top, as well as 2 plain cars. I'm thinking, who is this man? That's a lot of cars for one man I called in for just siphoning gas. However, the story does not end here. In fact, it just started. The detective asked me whose car was he siphoning gas out of. I told him the girl's car in the laneway who lived upstairs. I took the detective and another couple of officers upstairs to her apartment. The detective knocked at her door and identified themselves as officers. We hear some shuffling of and movement behind the door. Then a man opens the door, just standing there with not a stitch of clothing on. Then behind him, the girl poking out of the covers in the bed. The detective explains the situation, that they had caught a man who appeared to be siphoning gas out of her car. Then she blurts out, "Oh, you caught the peeping Tom!" Okay, where am I here? Oh, yeah. Then the detective looks at me and asks, "Chris, do you know anything about a peeping Tom?" Of course, my answer was no. I just saw the man on the back of the police car siphoning gas, I believed, out of her car. Then the detective turns to the girl and asks her to explain. She said she and her boyfriend were in bed when they saw a man peeping through the door window on the fire escape. Then the detective asked me if I heard anyone on the fire escape. I had not, but the fire escape was in the laneway up to her floor behind the solid wall that was in the back of my apartment, and yet I heard nothing, and this fire escape was also in front of her car, and so I didn't see anything. So then the detective asked the girl to come to the hallway window and see if I could identify the man in the back of the police car. Her jaw drops and she starts stuttering. That's my boss. I mean, he was my boss. Everyone is looking at each other stunned. I finally said to the detective, "Well, I started the story. I think she can finish it now." So I left and went back to bed so the police could finish this up. At that time, I still did not know who the man was. In the morning, the girl knocked on my door and told me the rest of the story. This man had been her boss. She quit due to his making advances at her. She described him to me as a pervert. She was terrified of him as he had power and was following her around. At this time, Canada did not yet have its stalking law. Terrified of what he had possibly put in her gas tank, she had her car towed to the garage. At the garage, they took her gas tank apart to find a number of black windshield wipers in the tank, which explained the black tube I saw going into the tank. And then she told me who this man, which explained it all. He was one of the most prominent lawyers in the city at the time, which explained all the police cars I saw, and the detective wanting to have a really positive ID. The girl was so terrified she packed her bags and left her for Europe to live with her dad. As for me, if I was ever in need of a lawyer, I would sure avoid this one. How could this one, jealous of his former employee, having a boyfriend and spying on them, not to mention the windshield wiper blades, and how childish that was, putting them in the tank. I wondered how he really conducted himself in court, or was he just leading a double life? As for me, the police officers kept asking me all summer long if I had another good bus for them, as this bus was the talk of the police station all summer long. As a security guard, this security guard, the wife of a former police officer, helped to bring down the criminal. This was This was apparently the bus of the summer, as filling out all the reports on this one with my witness statement added to the mix. They called this one for the books. Believe me, it was confusing. However, as I've been saying in my videos, he was a man in the report who, because he became a victim of his own success. He thought as a lawyer he could frighten people and get his own way. till he got desperate in his jealousy over the girl and her boyfriend and took it to a whole new level by doing something childish, putting the windshield wiper blades down her gas tank and getting caught by a witness believing they were seeing something else. This just goes to show as well that not only the rich and powerful can come crashing down in disgrace, but the ordinary person can, and even the homeless and people who are using the homeless or other people to do their deeds can eventually be caught. So it doesn't matter who you are, as my grandfather would say. The truth always comes out, whether it's at the time or later. Although this incident happened to me now 50 years ago, and people who for years thought they could get away with their crimes. Look what's happening out now. Old cold cases are being slowly solved through DNA that was collected back then. With our modern methods and improved DNA methods, people are being caught for crimes years ago. In some cases, the people are now deceased. They're probably the only ones to get away with it because many older people are being caught. This is where I see the camera's of value in crime. If you can be caught, even on the camera, multiple times, you can be connected perhaps even to a string of crimes. Cameras are very good witnesses. I wish we had the camera back then, because we might have caught the action outside the back of our apartment to back up our statements. This story also shows you that when people are getting so overconfident that they are not going to get caught, they make silly mistakes like the windshield wiper blades. One mistake can be costly. Even with all even with all the online frauds, car thefts, along with all the other crimes, including hacking and trying to hide yourself behind the computer, our technology today is advancing at such a fast pace. If you make one more technology, we'll come back with a counter move. This century of technology is going to be very interesting as well as challenging. It would still be interesting to still be alive at the end of this century and see if technology helps humanity or destroys our humanity. As this video is getting long, I wish to leave you with one last thought. My grandfather used to tell me, "Do the crime, you pay the time." Wise words. So I'm going to leave that there today. Take care, be safe, watch your surroundings, have a safe summer, everyone, and we will talk again soon. And definitely take care, and I will be on the air off and on over the summer. So we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye. Take care.